Captain Alina Reyes stands on the bridge of the UES Dauntless, her eyes reflecting the starlight from the viewscreen as Earth shrinks to a pale blue dot behind them. The experimental warship represents humanity's greatest achievement, a vessel built with technology decades ahead of anything previously conceived. The ship's revolutionary adaptive shield matrix hums beneath her feet, while the quantum targeting systems and plasma fusion cannons wait silently for their first true test. When Lieutenant Rodriguez reports unusual energy fluctuations from a nearby star system, Reyes feels a chill of anticipation. "Plot a course," she orders, her voice steady despite knowing this decision could change humanity's destiny forever. As the Dauntless accelerates to FTL speeds, Chief Engineer Calloway whispers to his assistant, "Our weapons were designed to fight other humans. What happens when we meet something that evolved on a completely different world?" The Dauntless cuts through the fabric of space, its experimental FTL drive performing beyond even the most optimistic projections. Captain Reyes retreats to her ready room, studying the mission parameters for the 100th time. Earth's first interstellar warship, a response to decades of intercepted alien communications that suggested the galaxy might not be as welcoming as humanity hoped. Not that the public knew that part. They believed the Dauntless was a peaceful exploration vessel with defensive capabilities. Reyes runs her fingers along the small model of the ship on her desk. 800 meters of titanium graphene composite, housing the most advanced weapon systems ever developed, crewed by Earth's finest. She had personally selected each of the 320 crew members, from the seasoned veterans to the brilliant young specialists fresh from the academy. A chime sounds, and Commander Jackson enters. Her XO looks as tired as she feels. "Status report," Reyes asks, setting aside the classified documents. "Engineering reports the drive is stable at 150% of projected efficiency. They're practically dancing down there." Jackson smiles briefly before his expression turns serious. "Weapon systems are fully operational, though tactical would like more calibration time. And Dr. Chen from Xenobiology is driving everyone crazy preparing for potential first contact scenarios. Tell Chen to focus on the biological aspects. First contact protocols are my department." Reyes rises, straightening her uniform. "And remind Tactical that we're an exploratory vessel first. Weapons are last resort." "Yes, Captain. Though with all due respect, that's a lot of firepower for exploration." Reyes meets his gaze. "Better to have it and not need it, Commander." 4 hours into their journey toward the anomalous energy readings, the ship's AI, Athena, requests Reyes' attention on the bridge. The captain exits the turbolift to find her senior staff already assembled, faces illuminated by the main viewscreen's pulsing display of sensor data. "Report," Reyes orders, settling into the command chair. Lieutenant Commander Patel, their xenolinguistics specialist, speaks first. Athena detected what appears to be artificial communications originating from the Arcturus system. Not random noise, structured data packets with repeating patterns. "Intelligent origin?" Reyes asks, though she already knows the answer. 99.7% probability, Athena's calm voice responds. "I've been analyzing the transmissions for the past 20 minutes. They contain mathematical sequences that can only be deliberate." The bridge falls silent. Despite years of preparation, the reality of confirmation hits hard. Humanity is not alone. "How far to the source?" Reyes asks. "At current speed, 3 hours, 17 minutes, the helmsman responds. Reyes stands, addressing her crew with measured confidence. "This is what we trained for. What humanity has dreamed of for centuries." She activates the ship-wide comm. "All hands, this is the captain. We have detected evidence of non-human intelligence in the Arcturus system. We will maintain course and investigate. This is a scientific and diplomatic mission, first and foremost. But make no mistake, we represent Earth, and the Dauntless will not be found wanting if challenged. Prepare for first contact protocols." Reyes out. As she retakes her seat, Chief Engineer Calloway arrives on the bridge, data pad in hand. "Captain, if we're really heading toward an alien civilization, I'd like to run a full diagnostic on the shield harmonics, if their technology operates on different principles than ours." "Make it happen." Rise nods. "I want every system at peak performance." The Dauntless continues its journey into the unknown, humanity's first and only interstellar warship carrying the weight of a species' future among the stars. Within hours, they would either make history or become a cautionary footnote in someone else's. The Dauntless drops out of FTL at the edge of the Arcturus system, and the bridge crew collectively gasps. Spread before them in a formation that spans thousands of kilometers is an armada of ships, sleek, alien vessels with designs that defy human engineering principles. On the flagship of the Concordiate fleet, Admiral Zex Toral's translucent tentacles ripple with alarm as his sensors detect the human vessel. In 300 cycles, no new species has entered our territory unannounced. He tells his council, compound eyes narrowing. Primitive design, yet the energy readings are impossible. When the human ship fails to respond to standard greeting protocols, Zex Toral's patience evaporates. Send the ultimatum, then destroy them before they can report back to their homeworld. Aboard the Dauntless, warning klaxons blare as Tactical Officer Commander Liang shouts, "Captain, they're charging weapons across the entire fleet." Raya's jaw sets firmly as she orders, "Battle stations, show them what one human ship can do." The view screen fills with the alien armada, vessels of varied designs but similar aesthetic, curved, almost organic shapes that shimmer with an iridescent coating. Captain Rice maintains her composure despite her racing heart. "Analysis, Athena," she demands. The AI's voice is measured but urgent. "I count 73 vessels of varying sizes. Based on energy signatures, approximately 37 appear to be combat-oriented. The largest, presumably their flagship, masses roughly 3 times the Dauntless." Commander Liang's hands fly across his tactical console. Their weapons are charging, but the configurations don't match anything in our database. Radiation patterns suggest directed energy weapons, possibly plasma-based. "Shields to maximum. Power to forward arrays," Raya's orders. "Lieutenant Commander Patel, any progress on communications?" Patel shakes her head, frustration evident. "They're broadcasting something, but the language structure is unlike anything I've studied. I need more time." "Time we don't have." Commander Jackson mutters as the tactical display shows the alien vessels advancing in perfect coordination. Reyes makes a split-second decision. "Broadcast on all frequencies. First contact package Alpha. Let them know we come in peace but are prepared to defend ourselves." On the Concordiate flagship, Admiral Zex Toral observes the strange vessel with growing concern. His tactical officer, Sub-Commander Krell, approaches with a data tablet. "Final analysis confirms it's a species we've never encountered," Krell reports, his exoskeleton clicking nervously. "Their hull composition includes elements we don't utilize in shipbuilding. Energy readings suggest weapons capabilities beyond their apparent technological level." Zex Toral's upper limbs gesture dismissively. "Another paradox species, then. Advanced in some areas, primitive in others." "Did they respond to the standard protocols?" "They sent a data burst in response. Our linguists are analyzing, but it appears to be mathematical sequences, visual representations of their species, and what might be peace overtures." The Admiral's ocular membrane flickers, the equivalent of a contemptuous blink. The directive is clear. Unregistered species entering Concordiate space without prior authorization are to be evaluated for threat potential. Their weapons signatures alone classify them as Category 3. "But Admiral," Krull ventures cautiously, "protocol suggests we should attempt diplomatic." "Protocol assumes roughly equivalent power levels," Zex Toral interrupts. "This vessel is alone. Whatever their capabilities, they cannot stand against our fleet. Better to eliminate this scout before they can return with reinforcements." Back on the Dauntless, tension builds as the alien vessels form an encirclement pattern. They're attempting to cut off our escape vector, Liang reports. Ray studies the tactical display, noting the precision of the alien movements. Textbook maneuver. They've done this before. She turns to her helmsman. Lieutenant Chen, prepare evasive pattern Epsilon, but don't execute until I mark. Captain, HFY interjects. I'm detecting a powerful directed energy surge from the flagship. Based on the modulation, I believe it's a communication being broadcast across all frequencies. The bridge speakers suddenly emit a harsh, multi-tone sequence that makes several crew members wince. Patel's eyes widen as her translation algorithms begin processing. It's an ultimatum, Captain. They're demanding our immediate surrender and, her voice falters, threatening our destruction if we don't comply within 60 seconds. Seems diplomacy isn't their strong suit, Rise remarks with grim humor. She stands, addressing her bridge crew with steely determination. We represent humanity. We will not surrender our ship, nor will we fire first. But make no mistake. Her eyes narrow as the alien vessels begin to move into attack positions. We will finish what they start. The first wave of Concordiat fighters streaks toward the Dauntless, their energy weapons creating a dazzling light show against the black of space. Evasive pattern Delta 9. Rise commands, and the helmsman executes a maneuver that would kill an unprepared crew with G-forces. The Dauntless rolls and dives like a predator, not a massive warship, catching the alien vessels completely off guard. When the first salvo of enemy fire connects with their shields, Lieutenant Park at the engineering station grins wildly. Captain, the adaptive matrix is working. It's learning their weapons' signatures in real time. The Dauntless retaliates with surgical precision, its quantum-guided plasma bolts slicing through the engines of 3 alien vessels without destroying them completely. Admiral Zex Toral watches in disbelief as the supposedly primitive ship executes maneuvers his tacticians declared physically impossible. What manner of species fights like this? He demands, as his supposedly superior forces retreat to regroup. His second-in-command whispers with newfound respect. One that evolved from predators. Sir. The Dauntless shudders as Lieutenant Chen throws the massive warship into a corkscrew maneuver that should be impossible for a vessel of its size. The inertial dampeners strain, causing the crew to grip their stations as artificial gravity fluctuates. Incoming. 3 o'clock. Commander Liang shouts. A formation of sleek, dart-shaped alien fighters converges on the human vessel, energy weapons blazing. Their fire connects with the Dauntless's shields, creating rippling patterns of blue light across the barrier. Shield status. Rise demands, maintaining her balance as the ship continues its wild evasion pattern. Lieutenant Park's fingers dance across his engineering console. Adaptive matrix functioning at 118% efficiency, Captain. The shields are actually getting stronger with each hit as they analyze the energy signatures. Chief Engineer Calloway's voice comes through the comm. Captain, we've never tested the adaptive matrix against weapons of this type. I don't know how long it'll hold. Then let's not find out. Rice turns to Liang. Target the propulsion systems on those fighters. Disable, don't destroy. The tactical officer nods, his hand steady as he inputs targeting parameters. Quantum targeting locked. Firing. The Dauntless unleashes a precise volley of plasma bolts. Unlike the chaotic energy weapons of the Concordiat, the human armaments move with surgical accuracy, slicing through the engine compartments of 3 alien vessels without breaching their life support sections. On the bridge of the Concordiat flagship, Admiral Zex Toral's compound eyes widen as he watches the display. The human vessel moves unlike any warship he's encountered in his 2-century military career. Impossible, he mutters. Their mass readings indicate a heavy capital ship, yet they maneuver like a scout vessel. His second-in-command, Sub-Admiral Vrex, studies the tactical readout. Their targeting systems are perfect. They deliberately disabled our vessels without destroying them. A trick to lower our guard. Zextoral insists, though uncertainty creeps into his voice. Vrex points to another reading. Their shields adapt to our weapons with each volley. Efficiency is increasing rather than decreasing. Adjust frequencies. Launch disruptor drones. The Admiral's appendages click with agitation. No primitive species should be able to match the Concordiate fleet. Back aboard the Dauntless, Rais studies the tactical display, noting the alien fleet's regrouping pattern. They're adapting their strategy, she observes. Athena, analyze their formation changes and predict next attack vector. Analysis complete. The AI responds. High probability they will attempt to bracket us between their capital ships while deploying smaller craft to limit our maneuverability. Rais smiles grimly. Standard Wolf Pack tactics. Lieutenant Chen, prepare for maneuver thesis. The helmsman blinks in surprise. Captain, that's a theoretical maneuver. We've never actually. First time for everything, Lieutenant. Execute on my mark. As the Concordiate vessels move to encircle the Dauntless, the human warship suddenly accelerates directly toward the largest gap in their formation. The alien commanders, expecting the humans to retreat or maintain defensive posture, are caught completely unprepared. Now, Mr. Liang, Raya's orders. Target their command and control nodes. The Dauntless fires again, its weapons striking communication arrays and sensor suites on 5 Concordiate vessels with pinpoint accuracy. Chaos erupts in the alien formation as their coordination falters. In his command center, Admiral Zextoral stares at the tactical display in disbelief. They identified our command hierarchy and targeted our network nodes. Vrex notes with reluctant admiration. These humans understand warfare fundamentally. Zextoral's voice is quiet, almost reverent. What manner of species are we facing? Blood trickles down Raya's forehead as the Dauntless shudders under concentrated fire from the Concordiate's second attack wave. Hull breach on Deck 4. Sealing emergency bulkheads. The Concordiate unleashes their temporal disruptors, creating bubbles of slowed time around the human vessel. Commander Liang is thrown across the bridge as a gravity weapon crushes one section of the ship. Athena, countermeasures. Rais shouts to the ship's eye. Within seconds, ATGNA has analyzed the alien technology and devised a defense. Rerouting power from life support to create a temporal field inverter. The AI announces calmly. In the engine room, Chief Calloway works frantically, ripping out components and reconfiguring systems on the fly. No textbook ever taught this, he laughs manically to his team. We're rewriting physics as we go. When the Dauntless suddenly fires the aliens' own temporal technology back at them, augmented by human ingenuity, 3 Concordiate capital ships find themselves trapped in a bubble of accelerated time, their systems aging years and seconds. Aboard his flagship, Admiral Zextoral watches in horror as the impossible continues to unfold. They're not just surviving, his tactical officer reports, mandibles clicking nervously. They're adapting to weapons they've never seen before. The bridge of the Dauntless is bathed in the harsh red glow of emergency lighting. Console spark and smoke rises from damaged systems as Captain Rice pulls herself back into her command chair. The ship rocks violently as another alien weapon finds its mark. Damage report. She calls out, wiping blood from her eyes. Commander Jackson steadies himself against a bulkhead. Hull breaches on decks 4 through 7. Emergency force fields holding. Sickbay reports 12 casualties. No fatalities yet. Captain, Lieutenant Park's voice trembles slightly. They're deploying some kind of temporal weapon. Sensors show localized time distortions forming around our starboard section. The ship groans as metal strains against forces it was never designed to withstand. A nearby console explodes, sending an ensign sprawling to the deck. I can feel it, Rais says, noticing the strange resistance as she moves her arm, as though pushing through invisible molasses. Athena, analysis. The AI's voice remains steady despite the chaos. The alien weapon appears to create bubbles of altered temporal flow. Our starboard section is experiencing time at approximately 1/5 normal rate. Can we counter it? Working on solutions, HFY responds. Theoretical models suggest a reverse polarized field might. Another impact rocks the ship, and gravity suddenly intensifies on the port side. Crew members cry out as they're crushed against the deck. Gravity weapon, Leung shouts, dragging himself back to his station despite the increased force. They're hitting us with everything they've got. Reyes grits her teeth against the pain. Athena, countermeasures. Now, rerouting power from non-essential systems, the AI responds. Adaptive matrix reconfiguring to generate a temporal field inverter. In engineering, Chief Calloway and his team work with frantic precision. The chief pulls components from auxiliary systems, reconfiguring them into a makeshift device while barking orders. Reroute the phase discriminators. Jensen, I need those quantum capacitors. He laughs with almost manic energy. They're using fundamental forces against us. We can use the same principles back at them. Sir, this configuration has never been tested. A young engineer protests. That's because no one's ever thought of it before. Calloway grins, his face streaked with sweat and grime. Welcome to human innovation under pressure, kid. On the bridge, HFY announces. Countermeasure ready, Captain. Chief Calloway has created a temporal reflection field. However, using it will drain 60% of our remaining power reserves. Do we have a choice? Reyes asks grimly. Negative. Hull integrity at 42% and falling. Execute. The Dauntless shudders as the improvised system comes online. The temporal distortion surrounding the ship suddenly shifts, collapsing back toward the Concordiate vessels that created it. 3 alien capital ships are caught in their own weapon, but magnified and reversed. Instead of slowing time, it accelerates it. On the Concordiate flagship, alarms blare as Admiral Zex Toril receives the report. 3 cruisers experiencing catastrophic system failures. His tactical officer reports, mandibles clicking in distress. Their chronometers are advancing years in seconds, weapons systems aging beyond operational parameters, life support failing. Impossible, the Admiral whispers. They've taken our temporal disruptors and turned them against us, but improved. Sub-Admiral Vrex approaches, his exoskeleton pale with stress. Admiral, we've lost 22 vessels, disabled or destroyed. The human ship is damaged, but still combat effective. How? Zex Toril demands. How are they adapting to weapons they've never encountered before? Vrex's compound eyes focus on the tactical display, showing the battered but defiant human warship. Their sensor logs show they're analyzing our technology in real time and developing countermeasures within minutes. No species we've encountered has demonstrated such adaptability. Lieutenant Commander Patel works feverishly at her station amid the chaos of battle, her linguistics algorithms parsing through the alien transmissions. Their language structure is based on harmonic frequencies, not individual words, she mutters, fingers flying across her console. As a particularly violent hit rocks the Dauntless, Paddle is thrown from her chair, but scrambles back up with blood dripping from her nose. Got it, Captain, I can transmit in their language. On the view screen, the alien fleet has formed a new attack pattern. With damage reports flooding in and casualties mounting, Reyes makes a bold decision. Broadcast on all frequencies, she orders Patel. The xenolinguist's voice, transformed into the harmonic tones of the Concordiate, echoes across space. We did not come to conquer. We came to explore. This violence was not our choice. In the sudden silence that follows, the Concordiate fleet holds position, weapons still charged. Admiral Zex Toril stares at the translation of the human message, his species equivalent of a spine tingling with unease. They could have destroyed our lead vessels, his strategic advisor notes, but they disabled them instead. No predator species has ever shown such restraint. For the first time, in his long military career. Zextoril hesitates before giving the order to fire. The Dauntless drifts in space, emergency systems blinking across all decks as damage control teams race to seal breaches and stabilize critical systems. On the bridge, the acrid smell of burned circuitry mingles with the coppery scent of blood. Captain Rice surveys her battered command center, pride swelling despite their desperate situation. Not a single crew member has abandoned their post. Lieutenant Commander Patil hunches over her communications console, ignoring the medic attempting to treat her bloodied nose. Her eyes are wide with excitement despite the chaos around her. "Captain, I've identified a pattern in their transmissions," she says, voice hoarse from smoke inhalation. "It's not linguistic in the way we understand language. They communicate through harmonic resonances, musical tones layered with mathematical precision." Rice moves to Patel's station, studying the audio waveforms on her display. "Can you translate?" "Not exactly, but ATGNA and I have developed an algorithm that can approximate their harmonic structure." Patel wipes blood from her face, leaving a crimson streak across her cheek. "I believe we can transmit a message they'll understand." On the tactical display, the Concordiate fleet regroups, forming a new attack pattern. Commander Liang's voice is grim as he reports, energy signatures building across their armada. They're preparing another coordinated strike. Chief Medical Officer Rivera emerges from the turbolift, her uniform stained with the blood of the wounded. "Captain, sickbay is at capacity. 27 injured, 3 critical. We can't sustain another heavy assault." Rice straightens, decision made. "Lieutenant Commander, prepare to transmit." "Athena, assist with modulation." "What's the message, Captain?" Patil asks, fingers poised over her console. "Simple truth," Rice replies. "Tell them we came to explore, not conquer. This violence was not our choice." As Patil works with ATGNA to compose the harmonic message, Commander Jackson approaches Rice, keeping his voice low. "Captain, if this doesn't work—" "It has to," she interrupts. "We've proven we can fight. Now let's prove we know when to stop." "Message ready, Captain," Patil announces. Broadcast on all frequencies. The bridge speakers emit a haunting, complex series of tones and harmonics, beautiful in their alien precision. Lieutenant Commander Patel's voice, transformed by Athena's algorithms into the resonant language of the Concordiate, follows the harmonic introduction. Across space on the bridge of the Concordiate flagship, Admiral Zextoril freezes as the human transmission echoes through his command center. The harmonic structures, while imperfect, are unmistakably communicative. "They're speaking," he whispers, translucent appendages trembling slightly. "In our tongue." The translation appears on his command console. "We did know TQOM to QONQR. We came to explore. This violence was not our choice." Sub-Admiral Vrex approaches, his exoskeleton shifting colors in agitation. "It could be of deception, Admiral. A delay tactic while they ready another counterstrike." "Analysis of their weapons capability," Zextoril demands. The tactical officer responds immediately. "Their primary weapon systems remain functional. They could have targeted our command ships during the last exchange, but instead focused on disabling our attack vessels with minimal casualties." "Minimal casualties," Zextoril repeats slowly. "They disabled rather than destroyed." Strategic Advisor Krell steps forward. "In 3 millennia of Concordiate history, no predator species has ever shown such restraint when given tactical advantage." For the first time since the battle began, Admiral Zextoril feels uncertainty. The strategic calculus has shifted in ways his centuries of military experience never prepared him for. "Hold position," he orders finally. "Maintain weapons lock, but hold fire." The silence of space stretches between the battered human warship and the mighty Concordiate fleet, a fragile moment balanced between continued conflict and the possibility of understanding. The conference room of the Dauntless bears the scars of battle, but stands ready as the transport shuttle from the Concordia flagship docks in the hangar bay. Captain Rice, uniform crisp despite her bandaged arm, stands alongside her senior officers as the alien delegation enters. Admiral Zex Toral towers over the humans, his iridescent exoskeleton catching the light as he surveys these bizarre beings who have accomplished the impossible. For 12,000 cycles, the Concordiat has maintained order in this sector. He explains through the translation device. Species that develop interstellar capability are evaluated. Those deemed unstable or unpredictable are removed before they can threaten galactic stability. Commander Liang's hand instinctively moves toward his sidearm, but Ray silently signals him to stand down. Zex Toral's compound eyes focus on Reyes with newfound respect. Your single vessel fought 37 of our warships to a standstill. Our simulations indicate that even our combined fleet might not defeat 10 ships of your design. The Admiral's translator struggles to convey his next emotion, something between fear and admiration. You are everything we have been taught to eliminate, yet you showed mercy when you had tactical advantage. This contradicts all our understanding of predator species. The air in the conference room feels charged with tension as Captain Rice studies the alien delegation. Admiral Zex Toral stands nearly 8 feet tall, his exoskeleton shifting in iridescent patterns that seem to correspond with his speech. Flanking him are 2 other Concordiat officials, their forms similar but distinct in coloration and appendage configuration. Lieutenant Commander Patel sits beside Rice. The translation device, he and ATHENA, hastily assembled humming softly as it converts the harmonic resonances of the aliens into human speech and vice versa. You understand, Rice begins carefully, that from our perspective, we were defending ourselves against unprovoked aggression. The translation device emits a series of melodic tones. Zex Toral's upper appendages gesture in what might be acknowledgement. Our protocols are absolute. The Admiral's translated voice emerges from the device. Unknown vessels entering Concordiat space are subjected to evaluation. Your ship's weapons capabilities automatically classified you as a threat. Yet you're here now, Rice observes. Why the change in approach? Zex Toral's compound eyes focus on her with unsettling intensity. In 12,000 cycles of Concordiat history, we have encountered 17 species with interstellar capability. Those displaying aggressive tendencies or unpredictable behavior were contained or eliminated before they could threaten galactic stability. A chill runs through the human officers at the casual mention of xenocide. Commander Jackson shifts uncomfortably beside Rice. Your species, Zex Toral continues, presents a paradox. Your technology suggests a civilization barely a century into spaceflight, yet your adaptive capabilities exceed anything in our records. Your tactics indicate a species evolved from predators, yet you deliberately minimized our casualties when you had tactical advantage. Reyes meets his alien gaze steadily. Humanity has a complex history of both conflict and cooperation. We've learned that strength without restraint leads to mutual destruction. The Admiral's translator struggles to convey what seems to be a sound of contemplation. Our tactical analysis is complete. Your single vessel managed to neutralize 37 of our warships. Projections indicate that 10 vessels of your design could potentially defeat our combined fleet. The human officers exchange glances of surprise. They knew the Dauntless had performed well, but to hear the alien admiral admit their effectiveness so bluntly is startling. Sub-Admiral Vrex steps forward, his carapace a darker shade than Zex Toral's. You represent everything the Concordiat was formed to prevent. An unpredictable, highly adaptive predator species with advanced weapons technology. By all our protocols, your world should be quarantined or neutralized. Commander Liang's hand instinctively moves toward his sidearm, but Reyes subtly signals him to stand down. Yet, Zex Toral continues, his translator conveying a tone of perplexed wonder. You disabled rather than destroyed our vessels. You sought communication rather than dominance. This contradicts every behavioral model we have for predator species. Chief Science Officer Mendes speaks up for the first time. Perhaps your models are incomplete. Evolutionary paths vary widely. Indeed, Zextoral acknowledges, which leaves us with an unprecedented situation. Your species represents both the greatest potential threat to Concordiate stability and possibly its most valuable potential ally. Reyes leans forward. I suggest we focus on the latter possibility. Admiral, my mission was exploration and peaceful contact. That remains our goal, despite the unfortunate beginning to our relationship. The Admiral's exoskeleton ripples with what the humans can only guess is a complex emotion. Captain Reyes of Earth, your people have earned something no new species has received in 7,000 cycles, the opportunity to prove the Concordiate's assumptions wrong. Within days, the dauntless communication array is flooded with transmissions from across the sector. Another message from the Tellarites. Lieutenant Commander Paddle reports. They're offering mineral rights to their outer moons in exchange for human protection against Concordiate taxation. In the ship's mess hall, crew members gather around screens showing alien news broadcasts, where footage of the dauntless battle maneuvers has become the most viewed recording in the history of 7 civilizations. They're calling us the predators who speak. Rodriguez translates, shaking her head in disbelief. In her private quarters, Captain Rice reviews reports, while HFY displays a strategic map of the region. 17 independent worlds have requested alliance negotiations. The AI notes. Concordiate military vessels are being recalled to their central systems at an unprecedented rate. Rice studies the shifting power dynamics with growing concern. We didn't come here to start a galactic revolution. On the Concordiate homeworld, the High Council convenes an emergency session as riots break out on 3 of their subject worlds. The humans must be contained, one elder insists, slamming his appendage against the ancient table. Gather every vessel we have. We must strike their homeworld before more of these warships can be built. 3 days after the historic meeting, the Dauntless remains in orbit around an uninhabited moon in the Arcturus system. Repair crews work tirelessly on the hull, while inside, the communications department struggles with an unexpected problem. Captain, we've received 16 new transmissions in the last hour alone. Lieutenant Commander Paddle reports, dark circles under her eyes from lack of sleep. Our translation algorithms are working overtime. Athena has had to prioritize messages by source and apparent urgency. Reyes frowns at the communications log, all from different civilizations. Yes, Captain. From what we can determine, news of our encounter with the Concordiate has spread throughout the sector. The recording of our battle has apparently gone viral, for lack of a better term, across interstellar communications networks. In the mess hall, off-duty crew gather around display screens where HFY projects translated broadcasts from various alien civilizations. The footage shows the Dauntless executing its improbable maneuvers, shields flaring as they absorb enemy fire, weapons striking with surgical precision. Look at those view counts. Ensign Rodriguez points to a scrolling number beneath one broadcast. This one's been viewed over 2 billion times across 7 systems. They're calling us the predators who speak. Lieutenant Chen adds, reading the translation. Apparently that's considered high praise. Another broadcast shows crowds of a centipede-like species gathering in what appears to be massive demonstrations. Athena's translation overlay indicates they're chanting something about freedom and human protection. Commander Jackson finds Captain Rice in her ready room, studying strategic reports. It's not just the battle footage that's spreading, he informs her. Word of our diplomatic meeting with Zextoral has leaked. Multiple systems under Concordiate control are now reaching out directly to us. Reyes gestures to the tactical display where HFY has mapped the region. The Tellarites are offering mineral rights to their outer moons in exchange for human protection against Concordiate taxation. The Proxians want military technology. The Dorsani Confederation is requesting immediate diplomatic relations. We're not authorized to negotiate any of this, Jackson points out. No, we're not. Rise rubs her temples. We came to explore, not to upend an entire sector's political structure. Earth hasn't even been officially introduced to the galactic community, and already we're being asked to take sides in conflicts we barely understand. On the Concordiate homeworld of Harmonium, the High Council chamber echoes with the harmonic tones of heated debate. Elder Vex Krull, his exoskeleton faded with extreme age, strikes the resonance table with a specialized appendage, sending vibrations through the chamber. The situation is unprecedented, he intones. 3 systems have already declared independence from Concordiate oversight. Riots have broken out on Teller Prime, Dorson, and Proxima I. All cite the humans as inspiration. Admiral Zextoral stands before the council, his posture rigid. The human vessel remains in our territory, while effecting repairs. Their homeworld, Earth, is approximately 40 light cycles distant. Our intelligence suggests they have only the one interstellar vessel. Then the solution is obvious. Elder Kexmore interjects, her harmonics sharp with anger. We must eliminate this threat before it grows. Their ship may be formidable, but it is damaged. As for their homeworld, it would be defenseless against our combined fleet. Murmurs of agreement ripple through the council chamber. Zextoral's appendages shift in the gesture of caution. I have faced these humans in battle. Their adaptability exceeds anything in our records. A direct assault may prove costly. The grand chamber of the Concordiate High Council falls silent as Captain Rice finishes her proposal, the holographic display showing schematics of human shield technology rotating slowly above the assembly. Humanity doesn't seek to replace your order with chaos. She concludes, her voice echoing in the vast chamber. We offer partnership, your stability enhanced by our adaptability. Admiral Zextoral moves forward, facing the opposition of his peers. I have seen these humans in battle, he tells the council. If we force them to be enemies, we will not survive the century. But as allies, the historic treaty is signed amid the battle-scarred interior of the Dauntless, the document combining flowing alien script with human signatures. As the ship begins its journey home, Ray stands in the observation lounge with Zextoral, watching the stars streak by. Your ship will return to Earth bearing both scars and glory, the Admiral notes. Your name will be recorded in the histories of 100 worlds. Ray smiles faintly, thinking of the enormous responsibility now resting on humanity's shoulders. We came looking for new frontiers, she replies, not to become a galactic superpower overnight. As Earth appears on the view screen, a flotilla of Concordiate diplomatic vessels in formation behind the Dauntless, Rise reflects on how a single ship and crew changed the destiny of not just humanity, but an entire sector of the galaxy. The UES Dauntless returns not as a conquering warship, but as the harbinger of a new era where human unpredictability and alien order forge something neither could achieve alone. True galactic peace, with humanity's unique strengths now recognized and respected across the stars. The Harmonium Spire reaches impossibly high above the Concordiate capital city, its crystalline structure catching the light of the binary suns. Inside the Grand Chamber, Captain Rice stands before the assembled High Council, acutely aware that no non-Concordiate being has ever been granted this privilege. The chamber's acoustics amplify her voice as she concludes her presentation. What you perceive as our most dangerous traits, our adaptability, our creativity, our capacity for both violence and mercy, are precisely what make us valuable allies rather than enemies. Behind her, holographic schematics of human adaptive shield technology rotate slowly, alongside theoretical designs for collaborative defense systems. Humanity doesn't seek to replace your order with chaos, she states firmly. We offer partnership, your stability enhanced by our adaptability, your experience tempered by our innovation. Murmurs of harmonic tones ripple through the council as they communicate among themselves. Elder Kexmore's voice rises above the others. Your proposal is unprecedented, Captain Rice. You suggest that rather than containment or conquest, our civilizations might complement one another. Precisely. Rise nods. The Concordia has maintained stability for millennia, an achievement worthy of respect. But stability without adaptation becomes stagnation. The recent unrest in your subject worlds demonstrates this reality. Admiral Zex Toril steps forward, his iridescent exoskeleton reflecting authority as he addresses his peers. I have faced these humans in battle, he tells the council, his resonant tones carrying conviction. Their single vessel withstood our combined fleet. Our analysis projects that within 50 cycles, their technological advancement rate would surpass our own. If we force them to be enemies, we will not survive the century. His appendages gesture toward Reyes. But as allies, the possibilities are evolutionary. 3 days later, aboard the battle-scarred Dauntless, the historic treaty is signed. Captain Reyes places her signature beside the flowing script of the Concordia representatives. Commander Jackson, representing Earth's government, adds his mark as witness. The Treaty of Arcturus, HFY announces, recording the moment for humanity's archives, establishing mutual recognition, technological exchange, and defensive cooperation between Earth and the Concordia worlds. As the Dauntless begins its journey home, Reyes stands in the observation lounge with Admiral Zex Toril, watching the stars streak by at FTL speeds. Your ship will return to Earth bearing both scars and glory, the Admiral notes, his translator conveying genuine respect. Your name will be recorded in the histories of 100 worlds as the one who reshaped the order of an entire sector. Reyes smiles faintly, thinking of the enormous responsibility now resting on humanity's shoulders. We came looking for new frontiers, not to become a galactic superpower overnight. Yet that is precisely what you have achieved. Zex Toril responds. My people have maintained order through force and fear for millennia. Your people have shown us another path, strength paired with restraint, innovation with wisdom. As the Dauntless approaches the Sol system, Earth appears on the view screen, blue and beautiful against the blackness of space. Behind the human warship, a flotilla of Concordia diplomatic vessels follows in ceremonial formation, the first alien delegation to visit humanity's homeworld. Captain Alina Reyes takes her place on the bridge, her uniform now bearing the newly created insignia of Earth's first interstellar ambassador. Communications, prepare a message to Earth Central Command, she orders. Inform them that the UES Dauntless is returning home, and we're bringing guests.